All right. Hi guys, welcome back. It's Miss Erica here with your Monday mini artist drawing and painting class at HSC. How's everybody doing? I'm happy to be back here with you today and excited to continue on our project and add more to it and get started on what we're going to be doing this week. So thank you for joining me here this afternoon, and let's actually just go ahead and get into it. So what I need you guys to do to get started, we, excuse me, need to get our pieces that we started last week, which hopefully we have handy. So we're going to be adding to these. We do need our scissors again. We also need our glue stick. So definitely this is a must. If you guys don't have the glue stick, we can use the tape like I said last week. And optional, if you guys have a black pen anywhere, it can be any kind of a black marker, maybe grab that because we are going to use these later to do some fun details. Also, we definitely need you to get your stack of colored paper that you were cutting your shapes out of, your patterns, or your magazines, or whatever it was that you were using to create your shapes to layer. So I definitely need you guys to grab those. Then we're gonna go ahead and get started. So basically today we're gonna continue our project, which is cutting our shapes, practicing our fine motor skills, and then assembling them by layering them and staggering, making designs, and creating a really cool composition and design. Learning how to place things by overlapping so that we can make a really neat abstract design. So we're going to try to fill our space. Basically what we want to do is we want to keep adding the same idea that we want to keep adding to our picture. We want to keep cutting out more abstract shapes and keep adding them, layering them, and try to fill our whole space, okay? So that's the goal. We want to, I mean, there can be, when I say fill the whole space, I don't mean that there can be white showing through from your background, of course. You don't want to fill everything, but we want to try to layer in as many different shapes to our composition as we can. We want to try to fill a lot of this area that's still open. So we're going to go in and start with that. So you can use the same colors that you already had, or you can use brand new colors. As you can see, I have quite a stack of colors here, so I have a lot to choose from. I could pick from many different colors, and I could use every different color if I wanted to. However, I think I like my color scheme that I have going on here, and I think I want to stick with these. I might add one more. So this paper I really like. It's like a baby blue on this side and a green on this side, so it's like a double-sided paper. I think I'm going to do something really neat with this. I'm going to cut out a shape and then cut that shape into parallel shapes and kind of use that as one of my designs. So that could be something really neat to try if you guys want to do that along with me. I want to know what some of your favorite shapes are. What did you guys like cutting out? Did you cut any circles? Did you guys cut any blobs? Did you cut any rectangular shapes or zigzags or lines? What was your favorite shape to cut out? Did you have fun doing it? I can't wait to see your pieces. I'm so excited to see what they look like. So let's see here. I'm going to use this page that I just showed you guys. I'm also going to use this hot pink that I used here, and probably a little bit more of this purple and maybe some black. I don't know. I'm just going to kind of see how it goes here. But these were the colors, the main colors that I know that I want to start with here. So I'm going to start with those. So I think what I want to do is I'm going to look at, I already have a lot going on right here. I have a lot of overlap. So I want to look at these spaces where I can still see my white paper over here and think, what can I do with that space? So I think something maybe like triangular that crosses over these, and maybe some of the black would be kind of cool because it would be layering. So it adds an interesting, kind of fun, abstract look to what we're doing. So I'm going to take this. I think I'm going to start by cutting out a triangle here. I'm going to cut a triangle about yay big. So I have a triangle here. That might even be a little bit bigger than what I want. I'm going to trim it down a little bit. see here. Kind of playing with this a little bit. I think, here we go. I think I'm gonna lay it in like this, but you know what I'm gonna do to add some interest to this here? I'm gonna take my triangle and I'm gonna cut my triangle into strips. Like this. Then I'm going to lay my triangle back out, but I'm going to leave spaces in between. Like so. Actually, I think I'm going to turn it around the other way. So, I'm going to put this one here. I'm going to kind of play around with different ideas, and that's what you guys can do at home too. You can try something, and if you're not sure, maybe it doesn't look exactly how you want it to, then you can move it somewhere else. Do you see what I did here? So basically what I did is I had a triangle, and then I cut my triangle into pieces and lined them up so they're still in a triangular pattern, but I put spaces in between so you can see my colors of paper shining through from the bottom, which is really cool. And then this overlaps on the black, just creates a really neat design and composition. I love this. Actually, you know what I think I'm gonna do? Since this is reversible paper, I'm gonna flip over every other one so that this one's gonna be blue, this one's gonna be green, this one's gonna be blue, and this one's gonna be, or I'm sorry, this one's gonna be green and this one's gonna be blue. So how cool is that? Not only are we overlapping and creating an exciting design here, we've added like a stagger of different colors. So I love that. I'm gonna go ahead and glue that down. And do you see how we added to this, to our picture? We made our picture that much more beautiful by layering and popping these colors on top of one another. So I'm gonna, whoops, flip over one at a time here. Glue the back. Make sure I have all of it really nice and glued down. And flip it over carefully. And line it back up here about right there. And push down on it. And then I'm gonna take my green, do the same thing here, back side, whoopsie, whoopsie, flip it over, put that right there, push down on it, and then I'm gonna take the blue, and if you guys don't have a, you know I have a paper that has colors on different sides. If you can do this with just a plain colored paper. Like say I wanted to maybe just use blue or just my purple or one of these colors to kind of lay in on top, alternate, you can just do that. You can do it with just a couple different colors. You don't have to use different colors if you don't want to. So I'm just gonna go through and glue each one of my pieces down. This is really starting to make a fun, abstract pattern here. And we're really practicing layering and cutting out carefully with our fine motor skills here. All right, there we go. So look at that. I have this really neat triangular, almost like an arrow pointing this way. And isn't that so neat how you can see the pink coming through? And the bright orange and the black, every piece is kind of mismatched and layered on top of one another. All right, so now I think maybe I want to do the same type thing in this corner. I think that could be really cool. We'll go ahead and do that. So I think I'm going to use the same paper and do the exact same thing down here. And do like a pattern. We've learned about patterns in our other classes, you know, how we've learned about repeating our patterns to make a design. So we want to do the same type thing with our shapes right now. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut another triangle. That's a little big, so I'm going to trim it down. Still might be a little bit big. Let me see. I might be able to add this on You know what, I think that works, because see how this is what's cool about our shapes and piecing them together. This is what we want to learn. You see how this worked out perfect? These two edges kind of run parallel to one another with that space in between, and then this point perfectly lines up in between there. So that is really neat. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this one into strips as well, and I'm going to do the same thing with this one. What shapes are you guys doing right now? Are you guys doing triangles as well? Are you guys doing some zigzags? I'm really looking forward to seeing what you're creating. I bet they look so neat. So I am going to do the same thing here. I'm going to keep this one green. Since this one's blue, I'm going to do this one green. And then that one's green and this one's blue. I'm going to flip these so that they kind of run back and forth like this. And I think on this one, I'm gonna stagger. Let's see here. I'm gonna play around if I want to keep it in a triangular pattern, or so you can either just keep it in like an arrow pattern, or we could like stagger these. Kind of bring that one up there, that one down here, maybe this one up here, and this one down here, and that. I don't know, I'm kind of looking at what my different options are, looking at the composition and looking at the picture. I like that, but I think I actually liked it the best when it was actually lined up like this. I think it was very interesting. I think I'm gonna do that and just go ahead and glue that down. So I'm gonna flip this over, repeat the same steps, gluing, making sure I get glue on the full back side of the strip, and put it down, and glue down the back of this one. Whoops, that flipped over. Glue that down here. Whoopsie, whoopsie, I did that the wrong way. This way. Make sure I push down. Okay, and then this one already got flipped over, so it's on the correct side here. Alright, so I'm gonna glue that down right here. This one's gonna be blue. This is so exciting to see how this is coming out. All right, so we have 3 more here. Now we have the blue, so this one's gonna be green. We want to really pay attention to our shapes and make sure that we're lining them up. See how these angles are going the same way? And I'm alternating the blue and green. So that's what we want to learn with this project. We want to be very mindful of what we're doing, like cutting our shapes and where we're placing them and how we're placing them, so we're working those fine details and motor skills, paying attention to those details. Let's see, so we want to creating really neat patterns. And again, there's no right or wrong way to do this, but we really want to, once we pick a design and a pattern, we want to pay attention to how we're putting that down, okay? I need a little bit more glue here. All right, let's see. Here we go. Well, and that just looks so neat. Oh, look at that. So see how not only do I have 2 triangular arrow type patterns with spaces in between, see how the overlap is so fun and cool. Like this little point of this triangle comes off the front of the purple and it overlaps into the white. These just perfectly overlap the white in between the white and the pink, and these kind of cut up the shape of the circle, and this pokes into the black. It's just really neat how layering can create such a dynamic, interesting picture. It starts looking very like bright and jumps off the paper at you. So there we go, we're getting there. I think now, I feel like this black looks really neat, and it adds like a contrast, which I know we talked about contrast a little bit. Contrast is when something is very distinct or opposite. So like black and white contrast. So the black is very contrasting from like all the other colors. It pops off the paper. You can really see it. So I think I want to add some more black down here. So I'm going to go ahead and take my black paper. But I don't want to do too much because I think too much could be very overwhelming. So I think I'm going to do some really thin strips to kind of mix it up here. I'm going to cut a thin strip here. And I'm going to kind of play with that, like where I think this might look neat. And I think that might look kind of cool, or maybe going, I like, let's see. I think I'm going to cut a little triangle as well and see what that works. And that's what's neat about this, is you can just kind of play around with different ideas and see what you like and what looks good. We have a lot of like triangular shapes going on, so it's kind of neat to like integrate more of that same idea down here. Ooh, I like that. So it's still a triangular shape, but instead of going that same direction, it's going to go straight up, and then it cuts across these shapes, so it adds an interesting look, an interesting dynamic. So I'm going to go ahead and put that right there. I love that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the back of that. Put that right down on there. Boom. And I'm still going to kind of see if there's anywhere that this might look neat. Maybe, or we might wait till later. I'm not sure. Gonna kind of play around with that. We're gonna put that off to the side for now. But I am thinking, I have some pink strips that I cut out as well that I had left over from last week. And I'm gonna kind of look and see if I want to use any of those. Or maybe, maybe something like that. Ooh, I kind of like that. Because it runs parallel and it kind of cuts across and makes an interesting, I like that a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this flush with the paper, the edge of the paper, and I'm going to go ahead and glue that down right there. I really like the way that that looks, the way that the patterns overlap here. And then you can see the pink underneath, the purple, and then it's layered over there. So we're going to go ahead and again, I'm doing mine a little bit more complex. So you guys can do bigger shapes. They don't all have to be so narrow and thin, or you can do thinner ones, whatever you think you're comfortable with and looks good for your design. So we have that down there. All right, I think all I need to do to add to this is maybe something in this little corner here, and then we're going to be done with our overlap and laying in our shapes, and then we're going to move on to our designs here. So I'm thinking to kind of even this out and make it a little asymmetrical, which asymmetrical means you have, it's balanced, but it's off balance a little bit. So I have 2 arrows here on this side and maybe 1 in this corner over here. So I'm going to go ahead and use this blue-green again. I think I'm going to, add, I think I'm gonna cut out a circle here. Try something. Because we want to mix and match our shapes. That's what gives it a really fun, interesting, cool look, is mixing and matching our shapes. So this circle here, we can kind of do this, and we can actually cut our circle too. So once we have it, we can cut it like that. And then we can kind of, I really like our zigzag, so we don't necessarily want to cover the zigzag, but I want to try a few different things here and just see what it looks like. This might be a little too busy. I just want to see. Yeah, I'm not sure. I kind of like it, but it also kind of looks a little busy. Let's see here. think that actually looks really neat. I think I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put this little pink scrap that I had right here to kind of add something interesting there and fill that space. And then I'm gonna do this circle that we sliced into thinner pieces, and it kind of elongated into an oval, didn't it? But it overlaps and it looks really neat. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue those down, and then I think we are good with our shapes here. So I'm gonna glue the back of this, and we can do this shape all blue if we want, or we can flip-flop. I think I want to do it all blue. Go ahead and glue these down. Here. Whoops, that one's the wrong way. See, and that's something we want to be paying attention to. I could tell that that was going the wrong way because it didn't look like a rounded edge. It didn't follow the same original shape. So I had to flip it over. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put that there. One more here. Alrighty. There we go. This is looking so good. I'm gonna go ahead and paste down this pink piece, and then we are done laying our shapes in. How are your shapes coming along? Does anyone want to share what they